Hey folks, welcome back to the Cotswold Collectibles YouTube channel. I am Greg Brown, owner of Cotswold Collectibles. As you may have noticed, we took off some time during the summer. Generally, we're working on shows and new product and such. But we wanted to get back in the swing of things in September, so we brought Jim Egner, who has been working with us for quite a few years now, on doing 3D product. And we said, Jim lives, what, 4 hours away?
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, two and a half, something like that.
I said, hey, we got to get you up here. We've had Ace Allgood on the show. We've had David Howard on the show. But I wanted to bring Jim on here because, as many of you know, there have been a lot of advancements with 3D printing. And Jim has been in the forefront with it. We started off with Sean Huxter, who's been fabulous with us, and he's still designing great things.
Yeah, Sean's awesome.
He's a really great guy. So, but anyway, we wanted to start off, and we wanted to do a little bit and talk about what Jim has been creating on his own. And I talked to Jim before this, and some of all of these items you will eventually see that we will be carrying it, and then we will also post a link below as well as for Jim's own page. What is it?
TK560.etsy.com.
There we go. Yeah. That's a Star Wars.
It's a Star Wars reference, yes. Back before I started doing 3D printing, a lot of what I did was Star Wars costume.
Right.
And I made Stormtrooper armor. It's one of the things that vacuum formed Stormtrooper armor.
Right.
And so back when the 501st, which is a Stormtrooper cosplay group, issued 3-digit numbers, I had TK560, which is the telephone prefix for Nacogdoches.
I was wondering where the number came from.
Yeah, that's how that came from.
But we'll be posting Jim's information as well, because this is just a sampling of what Jim does. We would love to hear all of Jim's product, but we're just slowly getting there. But we wanted to talk today about some of the smaller items that Jim has been manufacturing for us, and some of the items that Jim will be manufacturing for us. So I guess we'll just go ahead and start over here. This is, if you guys are familiar from James Bond, this is from which movie do you remember?
Oh, let's see, For Your Eyes Only?
For Your Eyes Only.
I think
so Roger Moore.
Yeah, Roger Moore riding a wet bike is what we used to call him back then.
Right. Just don't get confused. This is not a snowmobile. It's not a snowmobile.
It's not a snowmobile. It's not a jet ski. It's a wet bike.
It's a wet bike. So for all you little kiddos, it's a little bit older, but for people like Jim and I, from the 70s and to the 80s, this was state of the art. So it would make sense that it would go with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, but it's kind of in the yellow and black theme, like the Adventure Team.
Right.
I think the one Roger Moore, the first time I ever saw one was in that movie, and it was a white and black one.
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting. We're very, very much looking forward to carrying this, because this just totally fits, especially with the color scheme you did. It totally fits in with the Adventure Team type of vibe and such like that. But a very beautiful piece. Looking forward to carrying. This is the first time I've ever seen it, so it's really amazing.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
This other one, and I'll hand this one over to Jim. I'll just let you talk about it, because
sure. This is a canoe. Greg was asking, did I do canoes? And I played around with a little bit from a couple of people have asked me about them. And this particular one has removable, if I can get them to come out, removable seats, so you can put more than one adventurer in there. And this is a prototype. It's not quite ready for prime time, but we should have it ready to go in the next month or so.
Okay.
So I think we're ready to getting close. We're going to try to scale it up, make it a little bit longer as well. I think that's another modification we're going to do to it.
Yeah, I was telling Jim what we're doing is there's a company called Manitou Free Traders, and we've been carrying the product. It's the Core Discovery series. And one of the things that they did is all the figures, if you own any of those figures, is that they all came with oars. And the Manitou Free Trader company actually did make a kayak, but we did not get access to it. So that's what the conversation started with Jim and I, was, can he do a kayak? When he showed me this, the first thing I said was, this reminds me of Action Man. I don't know if Action Man ever made it. I do know that they made it for Guyper Man.
Guyper Man had a canoe.
Yeah, had a canoe, and it's about the right scale. So to me, this just by itself is just perfect for what we're going to do. Of course, that means that we're probably going to have to do some Indian and or frontiersman related stuff to go with it. I know. Twist my arm. We did a frontiersman. I remember, if you remember, the Alamo Defender.
Alamo Defenders, yeah.
So this will probably be the catalyst for us to get the Alamo Defender going. This is a new item that Jim introduced. We debuted it at the Kentuckiana show in Louisville, Kentucky. and this thing just blew off. I mean, I don't know how many we had, but they were gone within hours. Why don't you go into detail about this, how you came about it, and then we'll talk about some of the transition pieces.
Sure. It all started with the Adventure Team headquarters. Had kind of a data center with a map table that had a cardboard box that the map table top set on. And those boxes are frequently missing. And so Robert DeCastro asked if I could make a plastic one with drawers. And so that's how that conversation got started. And that led to, well, can you do other computer room themed items? And so this was kind of a collaboration between Robert DeCastro and I. I had done some research on the data centers from the 1970s. And so this is loosely styled after the data centers from the 1970s with the big CRT displays, and we went with a color scheme that was very Adventure Team themed, with the red, yellow, and that sort of thing. And I think one of the things that I wanted to get this out for everybody, the big challenge is can you put a decal behind the screens? And I think that may be something that's in the works. So we're working on a decal for the screens. The blue one is kind of a new one, and it's kind of hidden behind the table there.
Back here.
It's the same model. It's just done in a different color scheme. So this was a special request from Greg to do more space themed.
Major Matt Mason from the 60s. It's been very popular, as you've seen when we've done some space themed items with Sean with the Lunar Hopper and such like that. People just eat it up, and it's just simple. I mean, it's like, this is such a great design, and I just asked Jim. I was like, can you put it in some Major Matt Mason, because it's that same vibe. I mean, you have that. I forget what was the engineering term for that.
Lightning cuts. I thought was the term.
Yeah, so. It was. You'll see. I mean, if you look at, we'll talk about that in a minute. If you look at some of the designs from the Adventure Team, especially the Adventure Pursuit Craft as a prime example. They put these holes in there, and the reason that I heard why they did it was because they were trying to cut on plastic and production. So this was a concept that was being used in the 1970s from an engineering design. And when Jim came out with this, I was like, holy moly. And like I said, this sold like crack at the show. But what we were talking about, when Jim talked about it a little bit briefly, was, as you can see here, this is a blank space, and then he made it to where the monitor area can fit on top of it. We are working with, hopefully, I got to send this off to AA Design.
Okay.
And he is going to make a series of inserts. He's not going to do just one. He's going to do a series of inserts so you can choose. And so we'll do a series of inserts for this one, and then this is currently available on our website. This will be, hopefully, by the time this comes in production, it comes to be shown, it'll be as well. And hopefully by then as well, we'll have those inserts. We'll sell the inserts as part of the kit or as add-ons if you've already had one of the.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I don't know how many you made the first time. I think you made 6 or 7.
Yeah, it was about a half dozen.
Yeah, and so they did really good. But it was like, Jim was telling me, he was like, well, I got to figure out a way to do these inserts. And I was like, I think I know somebody. So
that's always handy. Handy to know somebody.
It's good to know people, know people that knows people. But in the conversations that I was having with Jim, and what I was saying was, people are really digging all the space stuff. And I was like, Jim, do you have any space stuff? Of course he does. Yeah. So I'll let you take the lead on this.
Okay, this is still, I would say, in the development phase, at the tail end of the development phase. This is a 1/6 scale version of the Major Matt Mason Cat Track.
Cat Track, right?
Cat Track. The original ones were all one color, all static model. Nothing moved on it.
It was like a one-piece molded or what?
One piece, yes. And so this is printed in multiple parts and does have a what I call the click together or click track system on it, so that it does sort of roll across wheels. I'm working on a better, that's the part I can't quite have engineered to fruition, is the wheels spinning part of it. Right now, they're still not quite where they need to spin correctly, but I'm real close. So I hope to, within the next month or so, have the final version.
And don't sell yourself short, people. I mean, this track system, it's a track system. Each link is individual. You know, you have your individual links, you have your connectors and everything like that. If you've ever seen this in Major Matt Mason scale, like I said, it's a really neat item, but it is all, I think it's all one piece white.
One piece white. Yeah.
White. And the tracks are all molded. So this actually, you know, it looks phenomenal. I can't even describe it.
Oh, thank you, Greg.
When you showed me that, I was like, I mean, you take it to the next level. So anyway, so this is Major Matt Mason, and fill us in on this bad boy.
This was their space sled. So this is the 1/6 scale version of it, and it's done in multiple parts. The black pieces come out, the control panel comes off, and it's shipped flat. It's available now. So,
which is super cool because again, this was a little bit more detailed than this one was because this one, when it came out in the 60s, did have the black details and stuff like that and the black floorboard. Refresh my memory. I don't have any Major Matt Mason, and any left. The ones I had, the metal just gone.
Yeah, it's kind of a gumby type.
There was a thing that they attached to the back of it.
It was a backpack.
Was it a backpack?
It was a backpack that had a string that went through the middle of it, and you could kind of fly him around.
Really? They could attach to, would it attach to him or attach to that?
It would attach to him, but it was stored back here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Was there one of them though that had like a little satellite thing that could shoot off, or am I just totally imagining?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm already, here I am. We're shooting this, and I'm already here trying to figure out ways to make more stuff. So,
well, we can certainly come up with something, I'm sure.
But I'm 53 years old. My brothers had these when they were older. They were about 11 or 13 years older than me. So I got this as a hand-me-down. To me, this was the coolest thing. It's a very simple design, but when Jim scales it up to 1/6 scale, it's just phenomenal. And the entire time Jim's talking to me, I'm thinking, I'm going to have to make a space outfit for this now, which darn.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, darn it. But yeah, this to me, I mean, if you're a collector from the 60s and 70s, you see these two pieces and you immediately know what they are. And I think it's just phenomenal to be able to offer this. So keep your eyes peeled on our website if it's not already posted on there as well. So those are the two items that are actually three that will be space themed that Jim will be working on as of this video. But the other thing I throw ideas at Jim, and then Jim comes back to me. And one of the ideas, and this is already online, was, hey, you had what was it? Was it the Intruders? Is that what they were called? The Intruders, the Invaders? What were those ugly looking, Arnold Schwarzenegger looking?
Oh, the cavemen.
Yeah, cavemen looking
Intruders.
Intruders.
Yeah.
So if you guys remember, there was only really one vehicle, the Big Trapper, that it was, you basically had your gun and you had the cage in the back and you get them. The thought process I went to Jim with was, what if we could kind of extend that and build some mini play sets or such? And so we came up, I forget what we called it. I think we called this this was an Intruder's defense post that we currently offer right now. And what was so amazing about this, the synergy between Jim and I on this one, is I said, hey, I want to do this gun, but I need to have a tripod. Now, Jim has done a fantastic tripod reproduction for the 30 caliber machine gun, but I said, can you give it a 70s twist? And Jim came through in a heartbeat. And as you can see, take that part off, as you guys can see, he did that same design. So Jim's been following that design with those holes, that structural design, so it has that 1970s feel. This set was a really simple set to do. Jim came up with this, and then we added sandbags from Firebase Ryan, which is Rob Humphrey, who lives up in Oregon, and did that one. But this
makes a great kit.
It's a phenomenal kit. Anything
fun stuff. This was a fun one evening design challenge.
Yeah,
I think you gave it to me on a Thursday, and I had something back to you about that Friday evening.
You had something back to me, and I was like, holy crap. And the thing I have to compliment you on, and I'd say the same thing with Sean, is I can conceptualize something in my brain, and then I give it to you guys. And I've given concepts to different people, and they've been like, here you go, and it looks like, I won't even, it's just horrible. But you guys have been really great. And in fact, and that's the great thing about Jim and with Sean is that they're collectors as well. And so I'll give an idea to them, and then within 24 hours, you crank that out. And I was like, look, how's this looking? It looks amazing.
That was fun.
It's a fun thing. And it's just kind of like continuing with us with the what if. And that's something that I really want to do is kind of the what if expansion.
Yep.
So So this was a really good one. This one actually is offered online as well.
Yeah, that's available now. One final note: the little leg pieces actually are a separate part, so we may be doing those in a different color.
Yes,
well.
yes.
So,
Thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah, the one great thing about all of these things that Jim manufactures is, like when we were talking about the monitors and everything over here, we can change the colors up. So guess what? You change the colors up a little bit on this, and you might have a space can for Major Matt Mason or for whatever the astronauts are. So that's really great. And feel free in the comments below to give us any comments you think would be good. You're like, hey man, why don't you try it in this color or try it in this color? That's the great thing about 3D printing. You can change it. You know, you don't have to do 500 of them.
500 of them.
Switch out production run.
Yeah.
So you can do a few of them and see how it goes. This next project was super cool. We came across White Elephant Toys. Jason Shiremeyer came up with these rafts, and these are based upon the rafts from the Atomic Man, Savage River?
Savage River, yeah.
And then it became if you got the Super Joes, it became one of the sets for the Super Joes. Great set. They only did those. What's really phenomenal with White Elephant Toys is the fact they do it in black, they do it in orange, and they do it in yellow. So Jason was selling these to me. I was like, these look great. They would look a lot better if they had an engine. Well, there's no engines out there if you can find them, and especially I think, what did you call this, a transom?
Yeah, that's a transom adapter.
Transom adapter. So I went to Jim, and I was like, hey, Jim, do you do outboard motors? And so Jim sent me the picture of this thing. And I was like, oh, crap, that's too good. That's phenomenal. You know, and it actually functions. It does not have a battery. Does the case come off?
It can come off.
Come off.
Yeah.
So this is based upon the later design, which does not have a functioning motor. So it is a static piece, so don't get this and think you're going to get something great.
Play in the bathtub with
Yeah, right. So I went to Jim and, I was like, hey, can you do this? And he's like, yeah, not a problem. This piece was interesting, and I'll let you tell a story about what happened with this one.
I had already designed it based on just some online pictures that I could find. Because I didn't have one. These things are really kind of hard to find.
It's a very hard to find piece.
And when Greg approached me about doing this set, he said, well, let me send you mine and just be real careful with it. I said, oh, yes, of course. And it didn't come, and it didn't come. And I got a delivery notification saying it was there. And then a little package shows up. It's got a uniform. I'm like, something's not right here, Greg. This went the wrong place. Well, apparently, I don't think you sent me the right thing. And so it wound up going to New York or someplace, and then came back and then came back to me. So it was almost lost in the mail. But the original was found, and I was able to measure it to get an accurate reproduction of it. So,
and that's what was funny. I'll throw my 2 cents in on this. When Jim was sending me this stuff, I mean, the outboard motor, just perfect. And so then he came up. I was like, "Can you do that?" And he's like, "Yeah." So it came in, I would say,
3/4 scale.
3/4 scale. It was grossly underscaled, and I was taking this thing, and I was like, "I can fit it on there." And
that's not right.
It could have fit here perfectly, but here. So yeah, what Jim's talking about is I sent him mine. These are very hard to come by. I sent it, but we sent it to the wrong person. We sent it to one of the ladies who sews for us.
Okay.
So yes, my lady who sews for me was just as confused as you were, because she was expecting clothing, and she gets this piece of plastic.
Yeah.
And
how am I supposed to sew this?
How am I supposed to reproduce this with that? And so I'm in panic mode, because if you're a diehard G.I. Joe collector, you know that this piece is very hard to find. But it all ended up great. Jim did it. We sell these. We offer these with as a complete set with Frogman and stuff like that. And we have one that's kind of like a sabotage / Spy Island type of set.
Okay.
But then I was like, well, Jim, what about the original? So Jim's making these. These will probably be online by the time of this airing, and then we will have these. So you can get this one. I mean, if you already have the boat that came with the
Pygmy Gorilla?
Pygmy Gorilla set.
Yep.
Thank you. If you already have the Pygmy Gorilla set and you don't have this, it's a great replacement. The colors are spot on. Beautiful work. But then he just delivered these. So we will be offering this as a kit for anybody that buys these, or, just wants an upgrade. Just wants an upgrade. Yeah. We were talking about this, and if you've ever been to Jolanta, and when we used to do the state of the office, state of the hobby, we've always talked about 3D printing, and I mean just the amount of in the last 10 years. Because you did what? Okay, what was the first one you? What was the first one that you did? The big
the Space-O-Matic?
Space-O-Matic.
Yeah, that was probably the third or fourth project I did in 3D printing. First one was the Tank Commander tripod radio legs. That was the very first thing that I did in 3D.
Right.
And it served a purpose for me. I needed a tripod for my Tank Commander, but I couldn't afford the prices for the fragile legs of this 50-plus-year-old plastic. You know, I just can't spend that kind of money.
Those little small things that you
And you know it's going to break.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable. And so the need drove the design, and it was a fairly simple design to create. And then the next thing that popped in my head really very quickly was, wow, I should make some stuff that Hasbro never did. And the big famous one that of the toys that Hasbro never actually made was the Space-O-Matic. And this was for like 1970, and it would have been, they had introduced the fuzzy-haired astronauts by that time. And they produced a commercial, they had box art done, they had a working prototype that they filmed for I guess that was the 1970 toy show, the toy
Right.
Ruben
Javits,
That was it. Never went to production. And a few years later, they introduced the Amaze-O-Matic cars, and then I think a Mr. Amaze-O-Matic or something like that.
Used the same technology,
which was really pretty cool.
Right.
You cut a card out and you fed it through it, and it would drive a course. And that's what the Space-O-Matic did. And so I started looking at these videos and watching them over and over again, and then measuring, and then sort of reverse engineering from that 30-second promo commercial to a working model. It's a static model. The tracks don't move, but tried to recreate all the little bits and pieces. I think it's 18 different parts.
Yeah.
When you add it all together.
I remember when you came out with it, people were just all abuzz about it. And I remember when you came to the DFW show.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's Jim.
Oh no, not him again.
That's the guy that created the Space-O-Matic.
Yeah.
So I just remember that because I remember you walked in the door and I'm like, do I talk to him? I don't know. I'll talk to him later.
Yeah, I'll talk to him later.
But that's the great thing. I can't stress enough with 3D printing that it's just it's kind of like how Jim said. You created something. There was a void. You wanted to create something because it was a hard to get item, expensive item. And then it starts with that, and that's generally how a lot of these things start. And what's really great, especially with Jim, and I'm not trying to get his ego get any bigger, is the fact that you can take this technology and you can expand it. And it's really crazy. And we didn't talk about this, but this is a perfect example. Such a simple design. It's a table. How many tables do you see out there? Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Formative had one years ago. Formative's no longer with us. But Jim came up with this one, and what's really great about this, and this is what I love about modularity, is you take the legs off, and Jim designed it to where when it's in storage, it just fits in there. So you just take all of the table legs out, and you can fit it in here. So if you want to put it on display in your the headquarters or whatever. But it's just these simple little designs that you can have something as simple as this or something as complex as this bad boy right here, but you can all do it with 3D printing. And I'm just blown away. The technology in the past 10 years has just blown up, and your page has just been mind blowing.
Oh no! Yeah.
I hate to toot your horn. Screw it, I'm going to toot your horn. It's just great. But definitely check on the link below. We're planning to carry all of these eventually, but Jim has a lot more on his page. The Space-O-Matic, is it on there? Or?
Well, the Space-O-Matic was a limited for the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. That's when I did it.
Right.
And I made 50 units. And it was the box and the certificate of authenticity and all this stuff.
Phenomenal.
And decal sheets and the whole thing. I didn't do more than 50.
Gotcha.
So,
do you still have it as an archive on your page? Check it out on the page because, it's just a phenomenal piece. And, that's what started out, I would say, when you popped up on Cotswold's radar was when you came up with that, and then it's just been phenomenal because Jim and I have become friends. We've been on I don't know, guy named Paul Knapp. He does some podcasts. We did on the Paul Knapp podcast and stuff like that. But it's really great, and it's really great to have you here.
I appreciate the opportunity to come to visit with you,
talent. We have something going on tomorrow, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Well, that concludes this one. Check in next week. We're going to be doing continuing this discussion with Jim, and we're going to be talking about some of the larger items that he has designed and made, and some new items that he is working on that will be coming out pretty soon. So until then, keep collecting.
Thanks, everyone.